A few weeks ago, I saw a post on my Instagram that didn't sit with me very well. When I saw this post, it really rubbed me the wrong way, and I could not escape thinking about what I saw. It was an ad being run, a premier luxury brand that's inspired by 1940s design. It's handcrafted by experienced artisans, and it's made of the highest quality materials. Now, for days I was thinking about this post. I can't even remember exactly who published the post, what the company was called, but boy, did they go on a advertisement killing spree. I saw this post probably 3 days in a row before I couldn't take it anymore, and I had to leave a comment. Now you might be wondering what it was in this ad that I saw that was so upsetting. It was this right here. They claim that every one of their bags takes 80 days to craft and to perfect. So you might be wondering why that's such a controversial claim. So what I do is I go to their website and see the exact bag that they're advertising in the ad. It's this backpack here. It costs about 575 bucks, which it's not a cheap bag. But let me ask you this. With a company that uses the highest level artisans and the highest level materials, how does this thing take 80 days to make? If you figure they're using the highest quality materials, knowing what I know about leather materials and cost and supplies, a bag of that nature that's that complex probably is about $100 in materials when you boil it down to all the zippers, all the pieces of the straps, thread, all the everything. You're looking at probably about around $100 materials. In fact, let's call it 75. So the rest of this investigation is easier to get a visual picture of. So with the highest quality materials, we're left with 500 bucks. So how is it that you can pay somebody $500 to take 80 days time to make this bag? It doesn't exist. Let's put that into reference. 80 days is about 3 months. So back to my comments. I leave the comment asking how long it takes 80 days. No response, of course. So what happens? The following day, they're going ham on these ads. Why don't I click and see if they actually updated me? Maybe I missed the comment notification. Go to the comment section. Nothing. No comments. This post has been out for months, if not years, and it doesn't have any comments. And literally 24 hours prior, I had left the comment. So somebody saw my comment and said, wow, this makes us look bad. Let's delete it. And this is when I go, okay, these dudes are kind of shady. So what happens? Another day goes by. Wouldn't you guess? They're going ham on this advertisement. So I go, okay, it looks like there's a comment. Let's see what somebody has to say. Click over, and what I see is, I really wish I had this dude's info, but is a very small crafter. He maybe 100 followers on Instagram, like it looked like a part-time hobby leather crafter guy. And his comment simply says, LOL. Because even a person with no experience knows that it's complete BS. So what do? Right under his little LOL, I ask again, how does this thing take 80 days to make? No response. So the next day rolls around and, they delete the comments off their post, which every company has the right to. But when you're being asked about something that seems a little fictitious, deleting those comments rather than addressing them seems pretty sketchy. Almost like you guys are hiding something, or you almost know that you're not telling the truth. So this is where I start documenting and thinking, I'm gonna make a video about this. Now, the thing with leather work, there's not really a lot of cool, flashy marketing ways. You can't really run too many commercials because most leather companies are small. So really what leather companies do for the most part to market and brand themselves is to basically, everybody just claims to have the highest quality. There's virtually no other play in the leather world other than using hot key phrases and flashy buzzwords for the craftsman community, like handmade and luxury items and full grain and tradition and all these things. Some people get a little carried away with this, kind of like Satchel and Paige is doing, where they're making bold marketing claims that their products take 80 days to make. Now, to put that into perspective for you guys, like I said earlier, this bag costs 575 bucks. Let's hypothetically say that the material cost is 75 bucks. So we're left with $500. So in this $500, we have to pay 80 days wages plus a little bit of extra money to run all those Instagram and Facebook advertisements, as well as profit, as well as paying the photographer and whoever does their video work. Because quite frankly, I'm gonna give them some props. Their video work, their photography is bonkers. So we're definitely under $500 now to pay 80 days wages. So let's break this thing down. So one of two things is happening here. One, they're blatantly lying. They're big, bold claims based around this huge marketing campaign that they pushed down everybody's throats. Or two, they're not using high quality experienced craftsmen, which I'm not gonna lie, using like real high quality craftsmen is very hard to come by. Most actual crafters are like run their own shops. They don't do outsourced work. The best people in the world, as these people are claiming that they have in their back pocket. Now, I will say I've seen a lot of their products and their pieces and stuff, and their leather does look really nice. So I'll give it to them. They probably do use high quality leather, which is why the bags do cost so much. However, they are lying to the public. They're deceiving the public for their marketing campaigns and trying to take advantage of the everyday consumer's lack of knowledge about leather goods. So you're telling me for 80 days, you pay somebody $500? I'm sure there's some third world countries where that is absolutely great wages, but let's be real. We're not talking about the greatest bespoke crafting artists in a third world country. Like, they're probably not connected to the internet in a lot of great ways and like don't have these really high quality shops. I'm not saying that there's not great craftsmen in that part of the world, but like anybody on this planet who's a high quality craftsman that I know in the modern day of 2022 like makes $40 an hour at least. Like, I know dudes who make $100 an hour and they are booked out an entire year. There's people I know who are $200 an hour and they're booked out 6 months. And I don't even know the best people in the world. I know great people, but the story's convoluted, you guys. So really what I'm getting, and it's pretty unfortunate too, because I do like their work. It's pretty nice. Like, it looks cool. But the thing is, like, why lie to not only your like new potential customers and just blatantly deceive people so that they purchase from you, but also lie to the people who've already purchased your product, who already have probably some sense of pride for spending, almost $600 on this bag that they use every day. It makes no sense other than just sheer marketing and branding overhype of yourself. It sucks because like I'm in the leather world too, and I see this all the time. Like, I used to see these when I used to be in the repair shop. You get these saddles that are like quote unquote top end saddles that are supposed to be really nice, and they cost $1,200, and then come to find out they cut every corner in the book and the product's made in India. But because the name is so inflated and the customers and the client base has no clue of really what goes on behind the scenes in the leather crafting world, just brand name and marketing hype can deceive like hundreds and thousands. It's just really unfortunate. And it's like, I've been around this for so long. I've been in the leather world doing leather work in and out of saddle shops through my teenage years for over 10 years now. And the amount of this kind of stuff is so disgusting. That's why most of the time you don't see me using these catchy buzzwords. And honestly, it's probably to my detriment. But after all the years just seeing the slippery, slimy, like, this is handmade and leather's been used for tens of thousands of years and it's tradition and and you're over here, you're making like this hot pink like leather thing made for some 14-year-old cowgirl, has nothing to do with like the fact that leather has been used by like prehistoric man whatsoever. That's like me having some kind of marketing campaign for my leather business going like, humans have talked for thousands of years and we talk too. Buy our leather work. Like, they're so unrelated. So I know this got serious and everything, and I kind of felt like Chris Hansen a little bit, but like, honestly, man, this shit sucks. I see it so often. Companies that claim handmade, and it's like the only part of this product that's handmade is like it took somebody's hands to take off of a shelf to put into a clicker machine where a machine cuts it, then your hands take the thing out of the machine to another machine that like sews it, and then it gets sewn closed, but then your hand uses scissors to cut the thread, but then you use a machine to burn the threads, and then you take it with your hands to another machine to do the edge work. And it's like, I swear to God, this could be just because I'm involved and I know behind the curtain and I can see through the bullshit. But like, it is one of the most like blatant, not truth telling like industries like that ever existed. And it sucks because it's like, it's not even these big, bold like lies where it's like, we're snake oils. Like, you obviously don't see leather people going like, this bag is gonna change your life. You actually, I'm sure plenty of leather companies have used that fucking tagline as well, but it's not like it's like this leather bag makes you grow 6 inches, or like this wallet makes your 20 times bigger. Like, obviously they're not these bold, blatantly obvious claims, but these like, it's just woven with little white lie talking about highest quality material. Everything is made by hand. You know, a project takes 4 days at a time. And it's like, your project only takes 4 days because you do 3 things at a time and juggle everything. But like, when you have 10 manual, actual hands-on man hours on a project, that means it took 10 hours. It doesn't mean that it took a week. It doesn't mean that it took 10 days and you only worked on it 10 days. People like get in these weird loopholes all the time. And I'm sure that's exactly what's happened here with Satchel and Paige. You know, in my initial comment, I was like, is the 80 days from like when you receive the supplies and then it takes you, 80 days to make a huge batch of these things? Or is that 80 days when you place the order for the supplies and then, you have to wait for shipping time to have it come back? That's probably what happened. But like, there's no way in God's green earth that this thing took 80 days to make. And if it did, if somehow it freakishly did, then they're not using experienced craftsmen or they're not using the highest quality material. They make 3 claims with this, and it's the cheap, good, and fast analogy where you can't have all 3. So what you guys can pick, Satchel and Paige, which one is it? But one of them isn't. One of them is not true. So I personally think it's the 80 days. It's so outlandish. Like I feel bad for anybody who's seen that and go, wow, they spend a lot of time on their shit, like, and has bought in a product. That shit breaks my heart because there are crafters out here that actually care about the customer. And I'm not the only one. There's some great-hearted people out there doing leather work that just kill it and like truly care about the people that they service. Here's a video. Satchel and Paige needs to stop.